Guys, I'm not trying to turn this into a dating program, okay? I know we just talked about the woman who moved to Afghanistan, but I've got something here. This is the opposite. We're going in the opposite direction. You can either move to Afghanistan to find your husband, or you can spend $65,000 on high-end matchmaking services. Will it help him find the love of his life? I doubt it, but we're going to find out. And I find this one interesting, okay? So today we're going to be reading, and I know that's difficult. I know that's a lost art. This is a New York Times article, but I want to talk about it because I think it's funny-ish. It's a little interesting. Not really. Well, it's a little funny. I don't know if you guys have ever come across this lady on TikTok, but she's also a matchmaker and talks about a lot of the clients that she has. It's interesting the kind of person that would go to a matchmaking service. For those of you, who are unfamiliar, this is like an old school way of doing things where you go to the matchmaker, and I think for men especially, they pay a lot of money up front in order to have this service, and then the matchmaker matches them with eligible women. There was just the Dakota Johnson movie, I believe, basically about a matchmaker. She's a matchmaker trying to find love herself. I haven't heard great things about this movie, so I have not seen it, but it's definitely on the list. But in a way, a matchmaking service is like a dating app before dating apps. And so it's fun to think about that this was before you had Hinge. You could essentially go to a woman who was your Hinge, and she would try to take profiles that she had and would match people together. And look, we don't have to mince words here. I'm pretty sure the idea is mainly that if you're a rich man, you pay this money so that way you get access to all these women who might not necessarily gravitate towards you to begin with, let's say. And then from the women's perspective, they get to have access to these men who they know have money, because who the fuck has $65,000 to spend on a matchmaking service unless you have money? So it's kind of, it's an interesting sorting hat. Honestly, let's watch one of these TikToks real quick just to get us in the mood, just to set the tone.
These are people that I'm excluding from my matchmaking pool.
So these are people who got rejected from her agency.
I'm not saying that these people will never be able to find what they're looking for. If they do, great for them. I have limited time and energy, and
I have limited time and energy, so no uggos is what she's about to say. Is that
only
it?
willing to
No losers, no bums.
Realistic, female, 34, based in the US, paralegal, in my opinion, average looking, and does not want to work after marriage.
Ooh, okay. In my opinion, average looking is a crazy statement. But you know what? Hey, listen, no, we're being honest, but that was just, I was not expecting that.
Her requirements are that she wants a partner who is romantic, someone who will split household duties, and she wants a high value man. Now, people look for trophy partners all the time, except the trophy partners are usually bringing something to the table, and I don't think that she's bringing enough for what she's asking for. Okay, next one.
Which is a diplomatic way for her to say that I don't think you're pretty enough to be demanding the kind of guy that you want, which is crazy. But again, you know what? I would never sign up for this program. Like, this is not my scene. So I guess you don't really have, like, listen, in a dating app, right? If you don't match with people, you just don't match. Like, yes, you can feel feelings about not matching, but it's not like you literally have a matchmaker to tell you, yeah, listen, you're not hot enough, not rich enough, not X enough, not tall enough for these people. You just don't match. You just don't connect, or you get ghosted or whatever, and then you're like, okay, sure, whatever, and you move on. This is way more brutal in a way.
Yes, product manager. She's 5'2", and I would say average looking and overweight.
Jesus,
and
bro,
she said, attraction is important to me. I want someone who takes care of himself, is fit, hygienic, and goes to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. I want either a doctor or a lawyer, someone who is a high earner. He must also have a full head of hair, no tattoos, and have no gray in his beard if he has one. So this one's a rejection for me because she has very specific requirements about the level of attraction, the level of fitness, the profession, and the level of income. Meanwhile, I don't really see anything that she's bringing to the table that will make any one of these people want her back. And so I think it will be a difficult match to make. Okay, and last one. Male, 45, based in the US, software engineer, divorced with 2 kids. I prefer someone who has never been married. If they are divorced, they should not have any children. I do not want any more children. I'd prefer someone in her mid-30s. She has to be beautiful and willing to support our household. Sounds like you want a pretty young maid. And what is she getting out of this? Rejected.
Yeah, yeah. Look, here's the problem that we're gonna run into. And I already know this is what the problem is with this article, but also just the problem with online dating in general, which is like when you meet people in real life or through serendipity, is that the word? You guys will get mad at me if I use the wrong word. Yes, I am using the right word. There's basically if you meet somebody in the wild who you like whatever, you're at Trader Joe's again in the frozen orange, you're looking at orange chicken, trying to decide between the frozen orange chicken or the frozen pizza, and a nice guy comes up to you, and again, like maybe in a vacuum, right? If you had seen his profile on Tinder or whatever, you would not have swiped right? Maybe he's not your type. He has a beard. You don't like beards or whatever. Or, the other way around. It was a girl, and she has, I don't know. What do people give a shit about this? She had piercings and you don't like piercings or whatever. Not me. I love piercings. But when you strip away the aspect of like randomness and, you start to go back to your base layers of like what you think you want, then you end up with a very strict set of things that you're looking for. And when someone doesn't check the box, when you look at dating as a level of check boxes, you remove the aspect of taking people for just who they are and giving people a shot, right? Or being surprised that maybe you're into something or into a person that you wouldn't think you would be into. And so that is where I think a lot of the resentment comes from with online dating in general. And again, online dating also has the problem of you don't have any connection to the person whatsoever. Like you don't meet people through friends or family where you're gonna go on a couple of dates with them, even if you're unsure the first time or two, right? Versus when you meet someone online, you can go give it a shot. You don't like them, you just ghost them, and you're on to the next one, right? And so there's no upfront connection. There's no luck involved. There's no mutual respect involved because it's like it's just another number, you'll just get another date. And that's a problem. But we don't have time to solve every problem in the world right now. So let's just start with this guy's problem. 40 first dates and still searching. Joseph Pascaretta has spent roughly $65,000 on high-end matchmaking services. Will it help him find the love of his life? Let's find out. And I will put this article in the description if you want to go read it and support Catherine Pearson, who wrote this article of the New York Times. On a balmy Thursday evening in late July, Joseph Pascaretta, 38, got ready for his fifth first date of the summer. Jesus. He put on his signature first day look. Jeans, a collared shirt, dark sport jacket. The vibe he aspires to, Pascaretta says, is Eugene Levy, from the suit to the eyebrows. Now, right out of the gate, he aspires to be this guy, I guess, from Schitt's Creek. Okay. I'm not gonna say that's a red flag. I don't know what kind of flag that is. It's not green, it's not red. It's an interesting flag, but basically we got a character. We got a character right out of the gate. Pascaretta walked into Dear Irving, a dimly lit lounge with Art Deco decor in the Gramercy neighborhood of New York, 20 minutes early. He chatted with the hostess, vetoing the first table he was offered in favor of one close to an old record player he thought might be a conversation starter. Pascaretta's date that night, a petite 30-something brunette with a wide smile, arrived 10 minutes late. Annoying, but not a deal breaker. She promptly ordered a martini, so Pascaretta, usually more of a wine guy, got a Crown whiskey and ginger ale, his go-to so he doesn't have to fuss too much over the drink menu. Right away, the date felt flat to Pascaretta. He's an executive at a global software company specializing in industrial artificial intelligence. Nice, dude. His date had a big job in financial services. They were both professionally adept schmoozers, so over 2 rounds of drinks, they covered a lot of ground. The summer wedding circuit, she's a maid of honor in 3, blah, blah, blah. They're both Republicans, thank God. The Knicks, Celine Dion, she's a fan. She's going to go to the concert. And after 3 hours, Pascaretta walked his date back to her apartment where they hugged briefly. No kiss. 6 days later, Pascaretta dialed into a Zoom meeting with the woman who had set him up on the date. Maria Titus. I'm sorry. Is that a Greek last name? I apologize. The founder and chief executive of a Gape Match, which is a crazy name for a matchmaking service, the high-end matchmaking company he had hired to help him find the love of his life. And here's Joseph, by the way. So here's the thing. I think there's 2 ways you can look at a first date. Either you're taking every first date that you can get your hands on, and the idea is a first date's just a first date. It's a low stakes, whatever. And the idea of a first date is to get to a second date, which I think is probably the right way to look at it. Like, it should not be a high investment thing. And I think people who are looking for a spark on a first date, I just don't know. I mean, again, not my experience. I don't think like a spark is great, but is this like you're 38 years old, you're looking for the spark on the first date? I don't know. I think a first dates can inherently be awkward. I think first dates can inherently be uptight. And again, let's look at the venue he picked. I mean, it's a nice place. Don't get me wrong. This is a high end, expensive place. It feel like this is not. I'm not 38, so I don't know. Maybe things change, but like this would feel to me, if you're trying to make things not intimidating, you've made things as intimidating as possible. Like, it's not as bad as going for like a really nice long sit down dinner, but this is still like, this is a lot. Like, look at this place. This is a lot for a first date. You're sitting far apart. He's already, you can tell that he's already kind of, I don't want to say nervous, but like, overthinking a lot of things. He wants to be by the record player. Maybe it'll be a conversation starter. He just gets the same drink on every date he goes on because he doesn't want to have to look at the menu. Like, you gotta have fun with dating too, I think, is a good mental approach. You have to be in the state of mind of like, I'm gonna go on this thing and I'm gonna have fun no matter what, because I'm a fun guy. And whatever it is, like, maybe it'll go well, maybe it won't, but like, I'm gonna, try a new bar out, get a try a new cocktail or whatever, try a new wine. Like, the fact that she ordered a martini and then he's like, oh, well, I wanted wine, but then I didn't get it. It's like, dude, just get the wine. Like, maybe then you could have something to talk about there. And again, as we get deeper in this article, what's fascinating to me is he understands that having every box checked in terms of interests and politics and whatever is clearly not working out for him, but he still is on this wave of taking this approach where we're going to, have very specific requirements, which let's get into that. And this guy's contract with the matchmaking service gets him at least a date a month, and he's 4 months into a 6-month, $25,000 contract. So we still had free dates come. I mean, are they free if you've paid for them up front? I feel like that's just them doing their job. But okay. He still felt optimistic that something would work out. If you counted his previous 2 arrangements with the company going back 9 years, he had paid the matchmakers roughly $65,000 and gone on approximately 40 first dates and 20 second dates, only one of which led to a relationship with a stunning surgeon who graduated from Harvard, but she was fresh off a divorce and still figuring things out. Which, by the way, still figuring things out means that she just wasn't into you. I fear. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like to me. And again, dude, 65,000. Again, this is crazy. This is a whole different world to me. But 40 first dates and 20 second dates, so 50% of your first dates got to a second date. Like, is that even, that's not bad, is it? Given how he's met these women, again, like, it's not like they're 40 first dates that were like warm, of like friends of friends or people he already knows, or even from an online dating app. Like, this is 40 true, almost as close to blind dates as you can get. And the fact that 50% of them were willing to give it another shot, there's a problem here, okay? Joseph, his name's Joseph. Yes, Joseph, if you're getting 50% to a second date and we're just going nowhere after that, you might be the problem. I fear. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. If you called me 8 years ago and said, do you think you'll be single by 30, I would have said, oh no, this is getting a little old. Some of this is not fun anymore. I get it, man. I get it. But I don't know. He's been with this matchmaking service since he was 29, and now he's 38. Like, do you not at a certain point go, maybe not even I'm the problem. Maybe my approach. And I take that back. I said he was the problem earlier. No, not the problem, but maybe your approach is the problem. Pascaretta sounds like an old-timey sitcom dad, peppering his conversations with Jizo Pete's and Son of a Gun. Nice, dude. He has some theories about why he hasn't settled down. Let's hear him. His grueling work schedule, for one. Pascaretta travels almost every week for work, often to Europe, and frequently signs on for the day around 2 or 3 a.m. before the markets open. So it doesn't seem like he has a ton of time for dating as a start. And there's his height. Pascaretta, who said he is 5'6", 5'7" on a good day, knows it can be a deal breaker for some women, certainly on the dating apps. That's a big deal for some of these girls, he said. Here's the thing though, dude. I'm not saying that is not true. Like, height's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of women. A lot of people have a lot of different physical deal breakers. And I know height is a big one, and I'm not gonna open this discussion up, okay? But the thing is, everyone who's gone on a date with you knew what your height was, or they knew sort of what that was going into it. So at a bare minimum, like the people that you're talking to, it's not a deal breaker to them. Maybe I'm sure maybe at one or two of his 40 dates thought they'd be okay with it, and then they met the guy and they're like, I don't know. I'm sure that that's a possibility, but it's not. That is not the issue here. You're on the road traveling to Europe for work every single week. You wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do your AI tech company that you work at. Again, you make a lot of money, I'm assuming, but it's New York, and there's a lot of rich people, there's a lot of rich dudes, there's a lot of money, and what are you optimizing for that you keep ending up on dates with people who, or that either don't like you enough, or what are you doing on these dates such that you cannot get to a higher level? Let's find out. Pascaretta has lofty standards. When he signed his third renewal, Jesus, he sent the Agape team a 6-page Word document with details about his past girlfriends and a 1-page self-profile. I'm a rare blend of executive discipline and genuine warmth, he wrote, mentioning his MBA and pilot's license. He also cooks and cleans like Mrs. Doubtfire, Pascaretta noted, by choice, not necessity. Well, cooking is cool, dude, but, anyone who... you're on a dating platform and you're describing yourself as a rare blend of executive discipline and genuine warmth, and you're mentioning your MBA, which was from the George Washington University, by the way. Shout out to GW. But, it's not Harvard, and what are you optimizing for? The kind of woman who's gonna give a shit about your second tier MBA. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Grounded in my Italian roots, I lead with heart, drive, and zero ego, he wrote. I'm looking for my queen, someone to grow with, not just go with. Okay, so you also use ChatGPT when writing your dating profiles. Or if not, you sound like ChatGPT. But again, he works at an AI company. This is on brand. Pascaretta also sent the team an Excel spreadsheet cataloging his must-haves. Okay, these are the must-haves. An accomplished professional, ideally a doctor, lawyer, or executive. Someone like me who has been heads down, career focused, but is now ready for a serious relationship. Someone who has never been married or is at least amicably divorced. Someone shorter than him. Someone between the ages of 25 and 43. It also details his strong preference for a woman who's, among other things, naturally pretty, stylish, loyal, classy, ambitious, elegant, feminine, emotionally stable, from a well-respected family, and who went to a top-tier school. We could just end the video now. Like, do you get what I'm saying? This is what's so hard for me, because I will never want to be the guy that's like, anyone should lower their standards, right? But how about a more diplomatic way to say it is adjusting your standards? Because right now your standards are a doctor, lawyer, or executive who's 25 years old, and from a loyal, classy, ambitious, from a well-respected family. So you're a clout chaser, dude. Like this is the list of someone who's not interested in a relationship. This is the list of things somebody who is a status-obsessed loser cares about. And that is the vibe I'm getting, and that is why you have not found love, because you're not looking for love, you're looking for a trophy, and trophies are shiny. But then if you're looking for a trophy, the question is, what kind of trophy are you? Because people who are trophies are also looking for trophies, and I don't really know if there's like a huge market out there for you. What did he say? Naturally pretty. Is this a guy who's naturally pretty to you? Or naturally, like, I'm assuming he's had some kind of work done. And I'm not commenting on anybody's appearance here, but it's like, this is not the vibe I get from somebody who is, like, really strongly against, plastic surgery or any kind of, body improvements. Like, listen, man, you look like you have your eyebrows threaded, once a week. Like, what are we talking about here? I don't want to be overly simplistic. Look, like, he said he's okay with someone up to the age of 43. I don't really know if that's true, but like he has a wide age range. But when you're so narrowly looking for essentially clout, if you are the rich man and you're the rich guy and you're the boss and blah 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 blah, why does it matter what school your significant other went to? Like, why is that even a equation if love is what you really care about? Why would you give a shit? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not even, I'm not even suggesting you lower your standards, because I don't think opening up to, girls who went to a state school, I don't even consider that lowering your standards. I just considering that not being so weird and status obsessed. What I was trying to figure out with Maria was, what are they looking for on a first date? Because we keep having this first date syndrome. Oh, he's great, he's dressed sharp, amazing, but I didn't feel a connection. If you're paying $65,000 for a matchmaker, it would be nice to get a little bit more feedback, on the dates from the person you're going on a date with. Like, they can just tell the matchmaker why it didn't work out. I didn't feel the connection. Feels like another very diplomatic way for them to just, it could mean anything. That could mean that they didn't like you physically, emotionally, personally. And then you get this whole part about, people thinking now they have unlimited options, which, again, this is true. Social media is awash with talk of green flags and red flags and dating absolutes, and AI chatbots are flattering people. Sure, but none of that has anything to do with this guy. Okay, this guy has issues. And here we go. They put a picture here of one of his dating profiles. And again, 38 Manhattan, 5'7", Joe P, with a fun little headshot here. And this is his bio on a dating app. COO by trade. Scaled 5 software companies, logged 3 million miles in the air, and all, something. Like, if your most interesting thing, the thing that you want people to know most about you is that you're a COO by trade and you scaled software companies, like, you have to be okay with a girl who cares about money and maybe is not, like, necessarily a PhD student or a doctor or a lawyer themselves. Because most women, dude, who are lawyers or attorneys or, again, highly educated, whatever they're doing, like, what would they care about your CEO, your money status obsessed COO, whatever? Like, that's not interesting, I feel like, to that kind of girl, versus, like, okay, maybe if you're okay with a girl who just is, like, looking for a guy with some money, then maybe they would be into this. And again, I think this is a terrible way to present yourself. But my point is, if you're going to present yourself this way anyway, you have to be okay with the kind of person that this is going to attract. And if you're not okay with the way this is going to attract, then you need to change the way you're presenting yourself. But I fear that you're not going to do that. So here they're talking about other clients that the matchmakers have. An Ivy League educated economist who said he wants to date only women who are thin, have large breasts, and are fluent in Mandarin, but who should not have any artistic hobbies or talents. Interesting. Fascinating? I guess it could be worse, basically, than whatever Joe has going on. And these are the matchmakers talking amongst themselves. Chrysula and I feel very frustrated by some of the women because we cannot comprehend why they don't want a second date with him. Well, maybe you should go on the, you need to be in the other room or, like, mic him up and find out. And then Joe, he finds a TV correspondent. And they go out, date lasts 4 hours, but then she just isn't interested, and he's all still thinking about this girl for weeks, and it's like, dude, you gotta have some degree of self-awareness. Like, what is the vibe you're giving off, and why do you think that it is not working? The unavoidable reality that you can spend thousands of dollars to insulate yourself from many of the pains of modern dating, but there's no amount of money can help if the person you really like simply does not like you back. Yeah, here's the issue that I have identified, and I continue to identify, honestly, with people in my own life too. I think this is maybe a male thing too, of you sort of see your life as a series of video game checkpoints, and you think that when you achieve a certain checkpoint, that everything is just going to open up and be great and beautiful, and everyone's going to love you, and it's going to be super easy to go on dates, and, you're going to be lauded, and things are going to go great, and that never really happens. There's not a salary or job title or city you move to or degree you attain that all of a sudden every interpersonal issue you have melts away, and it's actually super easy to date and get the girl or guy of your dreams. I was talking to a guy the other day who is super successful, like makes an obscene amount of money, and he was lamenting how hard it is to find love in New York City. And I was like, okay, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm on the apps. I'm like, okay, well, what else? Like, what are you doing on the apps? He's like, we go on dates, we go on a first date, people don't follow up, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, have you tried meeting anyone in real life? He's like, no, I haven't approached anyone in person in years. It's like, dude, but he has this idea. It's like, well, I got clout, I have money. Like, why isn't this easier? It's like, because one, if you show that stuff off, you're gonna attract the person who only cares about that. And that's not really love either, which is, I think, is what's going on with Joseph here. And almost more embarrassingly, he is showing all this stuff off, but the kind of person he wants is not interested in that kind of stuff. So you have the only other option, which is to just be yourself, put yourself out there, and find someone organically. But that's hard, right? And that makes you go out of your comfort zone, and it makes you get forced to give people maybe a shot who you wouldn't normally think would be your type. And I think that's sort of a lost art. And I don't know, this was kind of a weird piece, but I was just so interested by this profile here. And honestly, shout out to the reporter again for somehow convincing a man to let her write an article about how unlovable he is, essentially. This is brutal. Catherine, shout out to you. And Joseph, shout out to you too for being willing to put yourself out there for this. Maybe he thought that getting an article out there will maybe help him find his match. I'm not so sure, but it's interesting. It's certainly something. And one more time, ladies, if any of you are interested, here he is, the GOAT himself, 38 years old, big into AI, loves a glass of wine, and really hopes that you have an advanced degree and are 25 years old and are a Republican. And if you don't fit any of those criteria, I don't know.